Hello, welcome back to class. Today we're going to talk about reliability versus validity. It's going to be a very interesting class and it will need your attention. So I want you to pay very much attention. All right, because here is something that even trips up even experienced researchers. Now, for example, an experienced researcher designs a test. He or she runs it consistently. The results are exactly the same every time, right? And then they feel confident about this. And then someone asks a question. Does your test actually measure what it thinks it measures or what you think it measures? Now, that question is the difference between reliability and validity, and both matter equally in every test or study. And if you don't know the difference, you will trust studies you should not trust and dismiss findings that are actually solid. Hello, I am Viola. Welcome to this class. And if you're new here, welcome to my channel. I hope you have a fun time. No, seriously. I hope you have a very, very educated time because this class is going to be loaded, okay? So, let's go into the class. Now, we have two standards, right? Both of them are very essential, but they are completely different things. Now, reliability is about consistency, all right? So, a study or possibly a measuring tool is reliable if it produces the same result when repeated under the same conditions. So that's the thing. That's the test, okay? Can I run this this study again and again and again and get the same answer? That is how you know whether your test, your study, or your measuring tool is reliable. Okay, so for example, think of a bathroom scale. If you step on it 5 times in a row and it gives you 5 different numbers without changing anything about you, nothing changed about you, right? You stepped on this bathroom scale the way you've stepped on it 5 times. You didn't carry anything with you at all. You did not go and come back in 5 years time and climbed on a no, the same time 5 times, and then nothing has changed about you at that moment, right? But this scale continue giving you different numbers. Now that scale is unreliable because it's not giving you consistent answers. Okay, so its data is worthless. Whatever data is giving you cannot be used. Okay, now let's talk about validity. Validity is about accuracy. Now, what do I mean by that? If or a study is valid if it actually measures what it claims it measures. Okay, not something related to it, not a proxy, the thing itself. Okay, so we're talking about the bathroom scale right now. If the bathroom scale is measuring weight, how do you know that it's actually measuring weight, right? Okay, yes, it's giving you inconsistent findings, which makes it unreliable. Now, how do you know if it's accurate? Is it really measuring weight, right? That is how you know whether your study or your test or whatever it is accurate. Is it really measuring what you want it to measure, or it's measuring something that is related to what you want it to measure? Is it measuring something that looks like what you want it to measure? So that is how you know whether something is a study or a test is accurate or not. So now here is the relationship that most people get backwards. Okay, so I want you to pay attention to this carefully. please pay attention. You can have reliability. You can absolutely have reliability without validity. Does that make sense? Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Okay. You can, maybe we should make it simple. You can have consistency without accuracy. You can have a consistent result for something that isn't measuring what you want it to measure. You can have a consistent result or same answers on a bathroom scale, right? That is measuring weight. But is it actually measuring weight? Is it actually accurate? You see, that is what I'm talking about. You can have reliability without validity. Okay? So, for example, a scale consistently reads 20 kg as too heavy. All right, so this is the scale measures 20 kg as very heavy or too heavy. That's what the scale measures, heaviness, I think. And then it gives you consistent answers every single time, but it can be completely invalid. Okay, it can be lying accurately. It might not be really reading what you want it to read. It might not be really measuring what you have made it to measure. Okay, so that is it. You've gotten it now. You can have reliability without validity. Now, this is another thing I want you to pay attention to. But you cannot have true validity without reliability. All right? So, why do I say that? If a tool, like in our first example, if it gives you different answers each time, then it can possibly mean that you're not measuring what, or the tool isn't measuring what is supposed to measure, right? It could be that the reason why why the test or the study is unreliable is because the test or study is invalid. Okay. So that could be the problem. It can be that the reason why you're not getting a consistent answer from a weight scale, which is a measuring tool measuring weight, you're not getting it, is because maybe the weight scale isn't measuring weight. It's not doing what it's not measuring what it's supposed to measure, so it's invalid. So you cannot have true validity without reliability. So if you have inconsistent answers or results, that test or that study is invalid. But at the same time, you can have consistent answers or results, which is reliable, but sometimes it's invalid. You might not be measuring what you want the tool to measure, but it's giving you a consistent result for another thing maybe related to what you're measuring. So you have to be really, really careful. Okay, so what am I trying to say? A study can be reliable without being valid, but it cannot be truly valid without it being also reliable. And I've already explained it. Listen to my explanation over and over again, and you're going to get it. Okay. It's so simple. It's so simple. I know it is. Now, we have four types of reliability and validity. Okay, wait a minute. Let me look at this. Okay, so we have types. Okay, types. All right, and we have the two types of reliability and the two types of validity. Okay, so we're going to cover these types of reliability and validity. Number one, we have test retest reliability. So this is where you give the same test to the same people twice, and this is weeks apart too, weeks apart. If the scores are similar, the test is reliable across time. Please note that my words, across time. All right. So inter-rater reliability. This is when two different researchers observe the same behavior and they reach the same conclusion. So if they disagree consistently, the measurement tool has a problem. Okay. Now we have internal validity. This is where the study actually proves the cause-effect relationship it claims. So there is no hidden variable that has been slipped in and caused the result instead. Exactly what I told you. Okay, I'm going to continue using weight because that's like the most common thing to use. You are there and then you are measuring weight. You're supposed to measure weight and scores, and then you don't know that something like another variable like what variable can I even use right now? Is even body mass the same thing as weight? Is body mass the same thing? Something closer to weight has slipped into the measuring tool. So now it's not measuring what you want it to measure. It's measuring something that looks like what you want it to measure. So for you to have internal validity, you have to make sure that the study actually proves that it is measuring what it claims to measure. Okay. Also, external validity. This is where the findings generalize what your study has founded, the result of your study should be able to be generalized. Okay, they should apply to people beyond specific sample in the specific lab. Okay, so now you've done a test in your lab, in your psychological lab. You should be able to apply what you have tested, what you have studied, the measuring tool it is. It's supposed to actually give accurate results, or should I say it's supposed to be able to measure what it claims to measure outside the lab. Because you see, because in the lab the experiment there is really controlled. So most times you can control variables, make sure that yes, the variable that you are testing is the variable that you are actually testing, right? You're making sure that yes, there is a cause effect, there is a connection between two variables that you're trying to test, and there is no other variable that has come in between them that is making your study invalid. So now, external validity, how do you know that your study is actually measuring what it has measured on the inside? Well, how do you know that? You should be able to apply it on real people and real conditions and still get the same result and still get the same measurement. You should still be able to measure what you have measured on the inside. Okay, please feel free to always read more, because I will do my best here, and definitely the comment section too can turn into a discussion section. We can learn and then talk about so many things. All right, questions could be asked, and I'm not going to claim to know everything. Oh no, so I'm going to definitely give you answers. I'm going to tell you, oh, you can go find out yourself. And if you feel like, okay, there is a better way you can explain this, please do. Okay, do not hesitate. All right, so let's use a real life example. So meet Amma. She is an HR manager who has been asked to design a stress assessment tool for her company. All right, so the first problem is her tool gives different stress scores to the same employee every week. Okay. To the same employee. So now you see that Amma is having an unreliable tool. Okay, it's giving her inconsistent, what do you call it, result. Okay, so even she sees that this thing is giving her inconsistent results, even when nothing about that employee's workload has changed. The employee hasn't been given more than, it's still the same thing. So why is it giving her different stress result, right? So result that fluctuate randomly tells you nothing. You cannot use it, you cannot test it, you cannot use it to take the next step. Okay, so it cannot be used, right? So what does she do? She fixes it. So she standardizes the questions, which is identifying the research problem. You're going to do it exactly the way I asked you to do it, right? She does that, and then she also fixes the testing conditions and also the timing, right? Now the same employee scores consistently week to week. Reliability has been achieved. Great. But then here is the thing. Her supervisor asks her a harder question. What exactly are you measuring? This is where validity comes to play. Okay, so Amma looks closely. She looks closely. She really tests this tool again deeply, and then she realizes that the tool has been tracking productivity speed, not stress. You see that these two are related concepts. They are kind of, in fact, it's a kind of variable that can slip in. Okay, so they are not the same thing. So now her tool is reliable, is giving her consistent answers result, but is not valid. Do you understand? It's not measuring what it claimed to measure. Okay, so you can see that I wrote a reference there. Bryman and Bailey's 2015 text on business research methods makes exactly this point, that consistency of measurement and accuracy of measurement are separate questions, and researchers must verify both. So Amma's tool needs to be rebuilt from the construct up. Okay, so what are we taking away from this class? Reliability equals consistency. That's number one. Okay. Also, validity equals accuracy. And a credible study needs both. And they are not the same thing. Okay. Number two, you can have reliability without validity. Always remember that. But you cannot have validity without reliability. Know the other. Okay, know the other between these two. Number three, every time you encounter a study, ask two questions. Does it give the same result each time? And does it actually measure what it claims to measure? Because if you actually go back to my videos, there are people that claim that they are measuring, I don't know, human behavior. Are they really measuring human behavior? Are they actually measuring human behavior? Okay. All right, fine. So this takes us to the philosophical backbone of all this, which is empirism. We're going to talk about empirism again so that you do not forget. You see, I'm going to drum these things into your head until they become a part of you, just like they have become a part of me, so that you go through life much more. What's the word should I use? Much more prepared, much more ready. Okay, so I'm going to see you in the next class. Bye.